Oh my. Zach Frazier is performing like the best center in the NFL, and that's not even an understatement. 95 grade in pass blocking, 95 grade in run blocking per Pro Football Focus. Insane numbers from Zach Frazier. Maybe that's why the running back room has not gotten quite as much yardage so far this year. Maybe we're really missing that Zach Frazier guy we tend to forget about sometimes. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Geno a little bit. We're going to talk about the bye week ahead and what that means. And can we hope? Can we just hope a little bit that this West Virginia team could possibly go 7-1, 6-2 down the stretch? Maybe even 5-3 will get you somewhere in the conversation. That and more on this episode of Locked On West Virginia. Stick around.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul, your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, and thank you guys for being here every day, being an everydayer. We appreciate that. Those of you that stick around through the thick and the thin with West Virginia football, basketball, and the like. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is sponsored by Game Time. Today's episode, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your purchase. I got to say, man, Zach Frazier absolutely crushing it right now in the NFL world. Geno Smith absolutely crushing it. Absolute dog, as Pat McAfee would say. Dante Stills, absolute dog. Had a sack yesterday. Russell Douglas is starting. I mean, we've got NFL guys all over the place that are truly showing up and showing out, but none better than Zach Frazier, who some people are already saying is the best center in the NFL, guys. Do you realize the statement he's come in and made inside of just 4 weeks? It's incredible. I got to show you guys something from Zach Frazier from yesterday that is totally just unbelievable and mind-boggling. 1 second. I should have had it ready. All right. Yeah, here we go. Let me share a screen with you. Steelers rookie center Zach Frazier in week 3, 95.5 pass block grade, 97.3 run blocking grade, Pro Football Focus. Pittsburgh got themselves a franchise center. Just insanity, guys. Brandon Thorne says he has the innate ability to move, displace, and bury defenders. He's been an elite finisher already and gets my vote for best rookie offensive lineman in the league through 3 weeks. Like, this tells me a couple different things. Number one, Zach Frazier is severely missed on this year's iteration of the offensive line, and probably has a little bit to do with why we're not performing as well, right, as last year's team. Although this offensive lineman isn't bad that we have this year, they're actually a better pass protecting offensive line, though, which isn't suited to what we want to do, right? But the other part of this is I'm so happy for Zach Frazier. You know, this couldn't be happening to a better guy. Got injured in his last game. Oh, my gosh. Just incredible stuff from him. And you see a person after person just absolutely praising this guy, you know. And I got to tell you, if you watch any tape from Zach Frazier, he never doesn't have somebody on the ground. It's just, I mean, here's another guy. Nate Tice, the Steelers have found their long-term center at starter at center in Zach Frazier, who's playing like one of the best players in his position 2 games into his career. Quick, strong, and smart. Frazier's fun to watch, especially when he climbs the second level or sawing off twists. He is absolutely bulldozing people too, guys. Really is. Here's Baldinger's breakdown on him last week. This is from an hour ago. Oh, shoot. I love Baldinger, guys. I got to tell you. If you want to watch somebody that breaks down tape at an elite level, it's Baldinger. Zach Frazier's earned a new name. I refuse to call him anything but Matt Frazier. As a former state wrestling champ, he loves to take grown men down to the mat. Watching Matt every week gives me great joy. Oh, Baldy, we're going to play your video, brother.
Fun playing football than Zach Frazier is for the Steelers. He's played every snap. I think anybody's having more fun playing football than Zach Frazier is for the Steelers. He's played every snap at center so far, and he's just fun to watch. I know he's having fun. Like, Henley's a good player, but, like, sometimes you just got to take guys to the mat. In fact, I'm changing Zach's name from Zach Frazier to Matt Frazier because that's where he does his best work, down on the mat. That's where he likes to go, like right there. Like, you just open up the lanes for Justin Fields to pass it when you take guys to the mat. Matt Frazier loves doing it, and he's great at it. Like, you watch this drive block on Puna Ford right here. Like, this is a drive block. Like, just get the momentum going and just keep taking them.
Gosh.
Like, who's having more fun? Like, right here, Puna Ford's going right off the screen. Matt Frazier starting it.
Holy crap.
Who's having more fun? And I'm going and just, this is a drive block. Like, just get the momentum going and just keep taking them. Like, who's having more fun? Like, right here, Puna Ford's going right off the screen. Matt Frazier starting it. Like, you got to make your own fun in this world. How about the hook and then the reverse shoulder block? Right? And then, bam,
get on the ground.
Like, it's contagious. Spencer Anderson's taking guys to the mat. Like, it's fun.
Wow, man.
And then whenever there's a good run, it's usually behind Matt Frazier. So here we go.
Here's Frazier to the second level.
All right. There goes Najee. Right? Najee, like, pounding.
Good job by Zero to still make a tackle out of that.
Grass. It's fun. It's like, look, in fact, I don't know, something just fell out of somebody's pocket. He just ripped somebody's towel right off him. Like, when you go to the mat, grab something. Grab something, take it with you. Here you go. Look at this drive block. Bam.
And the seal here.
There goes Cordero. Like,
wow.
Watch. Spencer Anderson's getting in on it. It's like, oh, this is really a lot of fun. Let's get up that Henley guy again. Like, just bam. Just elbows and butts and helmets and dirt and grass seed. Like, this is the way to play the game. This is what is enjoyable right now for me, watching Matt Frazier play football.
Awesome. I enjoyed every second of that, guys. I enjoyed every second of that. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. Mostly because I am rooting for Zach Frazier. You know what I mean? Like, he deserves this. And it reminds us, which I almost did a video of the inverse. I almost did a video on this to try to prove a point to why maybe we should lower expectations for this offensive line just a little bit, because it's not fair to ask Brandon Yates to do that. It's just not, like this guy is literally dominating. I don't even, that's not even the word for it. If you haven't seen it yet, he had a 95 and 97 grade today. You just don't see it. You just don't see it. Tony Romo said the Steelers got an absolute steal and is absolutely quite possibly the best. Absolutely quite possibly. I've never heard those 4 words put together before, Daniel, but I'll take your word for it. The best offensive lineman in the NFL, not just at center. Now that might be a small stretch. The best offensive lineman in the league. Whew. There's a lot of really good offensive linemen in the league, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not one of the 10, right? One of the 10 best, which is one of the best. He'll be either somebody's first or second pick at center probably, because there are some things that he still could work on as far as there's just some things he's better at than others, right? The Steelers are doing what he's good at, which is letting him just use his momentum. Like, if Zach Frazier runs at you, gets his hands on you, you're going for that ride. I would love to see him work against Aaron Donald, but that might be a bad matchup for him because Zach's not exactly the quickest. But Aaron Donald also known for his immense strength. I would love to see them in a strength battle just to see who would win. It's hard to pick against Zack. You know what would be cool to see Zack? He looks like he would be good at MMA. Obviously, he's probably not much of a fighter, but you see wrestlers, they make it all the time. I bet you if you give Zack 5 years of training, he would be a monster in the MMA scene. Just a guess, though. I'm sorry, but we are underrated in the Big 12. How do we get back in the race? We are in the race. There it goes. Frazier has had trouble snacking for the Steelers. The grades are good, but I lost you there, brother. He's had trouble snapping, but that's on the quarterback too. It's not just on the center. Tony Romo and Jim Nance talked for probably 2 or 3 minutes straight during the game. Yeah, that's cool. Right, like I said, David, it's if the quarterback can get the snap, it's not a good look. Yeah, but it's still it's on both. You know, the center quarterback exchange is on both. You know, and you got to give Zack a break here. He snapped out of the shotgun his entire career. You know, so to me, he gets leeway. You know, and look, it's going to be fine. He's probably just. When the game's sped up like it is for him right now, inevitably, it's got to slow down for him some, which it probably is. He's trying to think about everything he's got to do right now. Once that all goes away, you know, the snap won't be as – he's probably trying to whip it out of there really fast, my guess. I think I have seen 3-5 times where Fields gets a clean snap and just drops it. Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely a rhythm, right? And Russell Wilson was the starter, right? So there's that aspect of it too. Like Russell Wilson was actually supposed to be the starter for this team, which poor Russell Wilson, he's lost his job now probably, right? It's sad for him. All right, guys, up next on Locked On West Virginia, we're going to talk about this bye week ahead for the Mountaineers, and then we're also going to talk about can we hope the Mountaineers can stay in this Big 12 race? Can we hope? You know, those are 3 easy words to remember. That's on Locked On West Virginia. Stick around. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, also for college football fans. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. So the bye week is here. And what a time it came at. Coach Brown spoke about it at length today. We get a lot of guys that are beat up. He wouldn't speak on a lot of them. It sounds like Aubrey Burks is in wait-and-see mode. We really need him to be healthy because obviously 8 guards had to play nickel, and that wasn't exactly what I would consider to be advantageous for our defense, although it all worked out in the end the other day. But I've seen a few people say this, Daniel, and Coach Brown had an excellent response to this. He said, let's do 2-minute drives every drive. I feel like we score 75% of the time on 2-minute drives. That's true, but Coach Brown really had an elite response to this today when somebody asked that question. He said, listen, when people practice for us, they're not practicing 2-minute drill. So when we pull it out, it's kind of catches them off guard, right? People practice for West Virginia. They practice for a slow pace. They practice running game, quarterback run game, and they practice against shot plays, right? Those are the main things you're practicing against a West Virginia offense. So when they go 2-minute, that's something that they haven't practiced against this, with Garrett, his running and everything. It's just chaos. If West Virginia went to that full time, people would dedicate all the resources to that then. And so people would find answers to the 2 minute. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Neil Brown said today. So, it's easy for us to be, and I'm not, please, Daniel, I'm not calling you this. I'm keeping it on me. It's easier for me to sometimes to be that armchair quarterback or, Monday morning quarterback, whatever you want to call it. But it's a hard job, man, and at the end of the day, like we're putting up 30 plus every game, except Penn State. So like, I feel like the offense, while it is frustrating at times to watch, like with the conservative nature of the offense, because he addressed the runs on third down a lot, and he said that we lead the country in fourth down, which they did say that on TV the other day. And you have to consider that Neil Brown on third down a lot of times, like 3rd and 5, let's say, a lot of those third downs, he's thinking in his head for 2 downs, 3rd and 4th down. Gosh, Neil, I'm just disagreeing with you like crazy today. T.J. Donaldson has been by far the best back. It's not even close. Like Jaheim has been, in my opinion, the one that hasn't run well this season. CJ scored in every game. He's had over 100 yards 2 or 3 different times. I have to look and see, but let's see. Yeah, I felt like I thought he was doing pretty well. Let's see, stats. I don't even know if it's updated. We'll see. All right. Let's see. He's got 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. If you count the receiving touchdown, he's got 4 touchdowns. So through 4 games, he's got 300 yards. The screen just moved on me here. Yes, through 4 games, he has 51 carries for 300 yards. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry, and 4 touchdowns. So, if you apply that, if you double or triple that, he's going to have right around 900 yards, 12 touchdowns. Like, I think he's a little bit better than what you're saying, Bubby. But I get it. Like everybody's been, you have your own opinion about it. I think the offensive line hasn't performed as well as I thought it was going to. So no problem, JDK. I needed to get that out, and I'm sorry that I haven't been over there as much, but I've really focused a lot of my efforts on this over here. And honestly, I'm still not sure going forward what to do with that channel. I have a standing offer from somebody to purchase it, but I just don't think I can, A lot of work that's going into that channel. And I don't know. I need to find something for it that works for me. It's good, preferably West Virginia centric. But the thing is on Locked On, they want me to do basketball and football. So if I'm covering both those subjects from West Virginia standpoint, I don't know. Like what do I do with that channel over there? So it's one of those things. But I think he did, Russell. I mean, he had his best game, no doubt. Now, he's got to be consistent. I think Neil said after the game that he has put a lot of pressure on himself to be good, and perhaps he was just putting too much pressure on himself, and it was perhaps affecting his performance, obviously. The other thing is he played against Penn State in week 1. That took at least one game away because their secondary was so good that day. It's funny they haven't played as good since, but against us they had a whole offseason worth of bulletin board material. Pat McAfee and Garnett Hollis. I mean, just everything that was said leading up to that game. Eddie Vester in it. Everybody that mouthed off a little bit, including me. Had those guys motivated, man. It is what it is, right? Yeah, but he had an incredible game, and it's great to build off of. We needed to continue to do that, And I really hope West Virginia has found something with that, because the corners they played against on Saturday, two of the best in the country, supposed to be. So our receivers look pretty good. I'm hoping we get Justin Robinson back. And Neil Brown mentioned Day Farmer today in his press conference. It just sounds like, I don't know, it just sounds like he's too conservative to play him enough to really know what he can do. He had one chance to catch a touchdown. He dropped it, which sucks. But Tosh Miller, only time CJ looks bad is when they run him east and west, which makes no sense. WVU 17th on fourth down percentage at 78%. Why does it keep doing that? There it goes. 10-12 on fourth down. Yeah, that's pretty great, man. GG did not look very good before the weather break. Looked a lot better after the break. He has to run for us to win. O-line has to open holes for Donaldson to run towards the south, not side to side. I agree with most of that, Charles. Trying to see if I disagree with what you said here. No, that's pretty much, you're dead on, brother. Yeah, we need consistency on him, Russ. So look, after the next break, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the hope. We're still going to get to the bye week because I feel like I didn't really get into it enough. But I want to talk about, can we hope at all? Can we hope at all for a Big 12 title this year, or just an appearance in the game? I would settle for that. That and more in this episode of Locked On West Virginia. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by Game Time. I love going to live events. I love going to the Coliseum. I love going to Mountaineer Field. I love watching games. I would love to go to more if I could. If I lived closer, I would. Well, Game Time can make that happen for you. They've got a new feature called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets for your favorite live events much easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I've had a pretty good experience with Game Time. They've always done me right. I've always got tickets before I really wanted them, leading up to, whether that was via the mail, via the email, however you want to get those. They really do a good job on that, in my opinion. I really think they're one of the best out there. And it's not just because I'm reading this off a screen. Well, not the part I'm talking about now. That's just me talking about it. Curation does make it easier to save more on sports these days. Concerts, if you want to go to concerts, comedy, theaters, etc. They have an all-in pricing feature that you have to toggle on up front, but there's no surprise fees at checkout. So all-in pricing, it must include you to have to turn on this feature. So make sure you got the all-in pricing feature turned on. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy, which is pretty cool. You can have a look at everything that's going on. They have the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you. This is one of the best things they do. They'll give you 110% of the difference if you can find a better price. Your purchase is covered with most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. So download the app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account, redeem the code, spell out Locked On College, get $20 off, and download the thing today. What time is it? It's Game Time. All right. I still got a little twisted on that one, guys. These ads, man, I'm telling you, I'm not the best. All we can do is our best. Yeah, he also talked about it. WV Fan 13 says, if you watch Neil Brown's presser today, he talked about wanting Garrett Green to pocket pass when needed. Well, if you listen to how he put it too, though, WV Fan 13, he said that's what he would want. He also realizes that he can't control him. But if he had it his way, he would do that. Oh, you went on to say something like that. Would it surprise you if I told you Ollie Gordon has 75 carries for only 258 yards, which is good for 3.5 yards a carry? CJ has 24 less carries for 26 more yards. Yeah, I knew they had, but you know what's crazy about that too is they have. I think I've covered this a couple times on the channel, but I find it perplexing that it's even a thing and it'll never happen again. I've said this before too. Oklahoma State has 6, unless somebody's gotten hurt. They have 5 6-year seniors starting on their offensive line. Just an incredible thing that you'll never see again because of COVID. So I find that to be just insane, really. So with all that experience up there, you'd expect them to have a much better running game than that, right? Paul, I watched TCU, Okie State, Baylor, Iowa State, and K-State over the weekend. We can hang with any of them. Oh, yeah, we can hang with any of them. But they're all going to be coin flip games outside of maybe Baylor and TCU. That's what I was going to get into anyway. I didn't even realize. I mean, I've seen it on here before, but I keep forgetting we have a second bye. What about Arizona? Do they play over the weekend or do they have an off day? Let me look and see. Oh, they got drubbed by Kansas State, didn't they? I forgot about that. That was K-State's last game, 31-7. So they look beatable all of a sudden, don't they? But yeah, so obviously Iowa State looks to be our toughest game now, right? After last week, but that'll change. You know what's crazy too is because Oklahoma State and K-State play each other next week, somebody's going to have 2 losses in conference. And I'm just wondering, who do we need that to be? Because I don't want somebody to be extra fired up like Penn State was when they play us. If Oklahoma State loses and they have 2 losses when we go up there, they're going to be desperate to not lose another game, right? On the other side of that, Gundy's such a great coach. I'd be surprised if they don't win out, I would not be surprised. That's just the way they do. Like, they lost to South Alabama last year and still won 10 games. It makes no sense, really. But they started giving Ollie Gordon the ball. But now everybody's got a plan for Gordon, and they're having to try to figure that out, right? Meanwhile, Iowa State's really been so consistent. Rocco Becht, who we basically let slip through our fingers, chance for a great legacy player. They beat Arkansas State to death. They just beat them to death. It wasn't even close. 52-7. That's not really a great win. They don't have they're going to win the next 2, maybe 3 games in a row. They've got Houston, Iowa State, and us back to back to back. So Iowa State, when are they going to figure out when they're good? Like they've got by far the easiest schedule. Oh my God. I just haven't looked at it. But look at this. Iowa State has Houston, Baylor, West Virginia, UCF, Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati. Then they finally have Utah and Kansas State to end the year. So their last 2 games are like, holy cow. But, man, they've got a chance to be really up there in record by the time that comes around. Man, I would love to knock off Iowa State this year. Do we go to Ames or are they at home? We got them at home. We got a shot to beat them, I think. Really just depends on where our record is by then. But looking at West Virginia, so obviously we all know what the next few games look like for us. It's no secret. We've got 3 ranked teams in a row, maybe 4 if Arizona continues to win. Oklahoma State's going to be tough, man. I don't know what to think about that. Right. That's what I said, Daniel. They've got 6 redshirt seniors on the O-line. They sure do. They could be 3-2. We'll be playing WVU 13. Yep. October 19, WVU will upset a top 10 Iowa State team. That would be fun. That would be delicious. Bill Brown's never done it. So there's a first time for everything. I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, guys. The question I wanted to ask, and I got to get off here in the next 2 minutes. We have a strict 30-minute rule on here for Locked On. Pretty strict anyway. It's just part of their formula that they like for viewership and people actually paying attention. How long will somebody sit and watch something? Not an hour or 2 hours, that's for sure, usually. So and that's going to be great if it is. He said, Daniel Sargent said that's the night game in Morgantown, October 19th versus Iowa State. Group break out the black ones, the coal mining uniforms. How poetic against Iowa State and the backs. But so I think we can hope, guys. I was going to get to this. I think we can hope. I could see a scenario where we lose one game to. Let's say we lose it to Oklahoma State since we're on the road. Then we have to bounce back versus Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona. Cincinnati looks good now too. So that's not even a gimme as much as it was. It's going to be interesting. Appalachian Paisano, what's up? Thanks for the stream, Paul. You're welcome. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at. I think we have to go 8-4 to have a shot at the league, no doubt about it. And we've already lost 2, so you stay within 2 losses in the Big 12, you're going to be in the conversation. But then it comes down to who beat who and all that, and I don't know. That's exactly it, Russell. It's a tough road to hoe, no doubt. But I think we can have hope, guys. I don't know how much, but I'm just going to say we're going to have a little bit, and we'll see how next week. Listen, we beat Oklahoma State, just like I was thinking before we played Penn State. All bets are off. We win that game, I'll feel good about the rest of them. So, all right, guys. Thank you for joining this episode of Locked On West Virginia. Thank you for making it your first listen of tomorrow, if you're listening to this tomorrow on podcast. But thank you guys for making me your tonight listen. If you could, go over to Locked On College Football. Spencer Saunders is the host there. He does an excellent job, guys. Excellent job. He covers NIL. He covers conference realignment. There's always some kind of chaos in college football. And Spencer McLaughlin over at Locked On College Football is your guy if you want to hear about all that. I'd highly suggest you go check that out right now. But thank you guys. They're always in here. Mad Dog Sports, thanks, man. I haven't seen you in a little while. Thank you guys. They're always in here, like the Daniel Sargents, the Appalachian Paisanos, the WVU Fan 13, and more. There's a lot more of you guys that are always in here. Tosh, everybody, JDK. I can go on Pokemon Kid Entertainment, Timothy Green. Like, there's a lot of you guys that are always in here. Thank you for being everydayers. I really appreciate that. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. All right, guys. That's the end of this episode of Locked On West Virginia. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. We'll talk more about their football. But until then, I'm out.